All right, if you thought the group stage was just a warm-up, well, this match absolutely proved otherwise. Today, we're diving straight into this explainer of a Group B decider, where a 2-0 result carried some seriously monumental, history-making stakes for both nations involved. This wasn't just another group stage match. This was a fascinating clash of styles and expectations. On one side, we have Switzerland, a team defined by their ruthless tournament consistency, delivering an absolute masterclass. On the other, the co-hosts, Canada, riding a massive wave of historic momentum but facing a harsh reality check. By the end of our time today, you're going to see exactly how this match was won, who the key architects were, and why the fallout from this specific 2-0 scoreline dramatically alters the landscape of the entire tournament bracket.
Now, to really grasp the sheer pedigree of the Swiss squad that walked onto that pitch, you just need to look at this number: 4. Only Argentina, France, Brazil, and now Switzerland have reached the knockout stages in 4 consecutive World Cups. Let that sink in for a second. We constantly talk about the traditional global elites of football, but reaching 4 in a row, that firmly cements the Swiss in that exact same tier of group stage reliability. They don't panic, they rarely crack, and as we saw in this matchup, they know exactly how to manage the intense pressure of a massive game.
So, let's get into Section 1, the Group B decider, setting the stage at BC Place.
Setting the scene in front of a completely sold-out, roaring crowd of 45,000 fans in Vancouver, here's how the dust actually settled in the group. Switzerland claims that highly coveted top spot with an undefeated 7 points. Canada, despite the loss we're about to break down, holds on to second place with 4 points, officially locking in their first-ever knockout appearance in World Cup history. Meanwhile, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Qatar are sent packing with just 1 point each. It's a bittersweet reality for Canada for sure, a defeat on the night, but a monumental triumph in the broader picture.
Moving right along to Section 2, a match of 2 halves. We're looking at a shift from a tactical stalemate to sheer Swiss brilliance. If you watch this game, you know the vibe in the first 45 minutes felt entirely different from the second half. Looking at that massive slice of possession for Switzerland, 70% of the ball, you can really see how the first half played out. The Swiss were patiently, almost methodically probing, moving the ball side to side, just trying to find a crack in Canada's organized 4-4-2 formation. Canada, to their absolute credit, stayed incredibly compact. Their clear instruction from coach Jesse Marsch was to absorb this pressure and hunt for rapid counterattacks. They didn't need the ball to be dangerous, they just needed to be disciplined.
This timeline perfectly maps out the escalating action. We build from that tense defensive battle in the first half right into the rapid release of Switzerland's scoring surge. Early on in the 11th minute, Canadian keeper Maxime Crepeau pulls off a massive save. The temperature steadily rises, hitting a boiling point around the 32nd minute. And then, boom, right out of the gate in the second half, the game completely breaks open with goals in the 46th and 57th minutes. It's a perfect illustration of how sustained pressure eventually bursts the dam. Before we get to those breakthrough goals, that 32nd minute really deserves a spotlight because the midfield tension absolutely spiked here. You know it's a gritty physical battle when the captain lashes out, right? There was this fiery flare-up between Swiss captain Granit Xhaka and Canada's Sile Larin over a free kick. Xhaka kicked out in frustration, and both players were handed yellow cards. A live commentator from the Daily Mail noted that the booking felt quite harsh on Xhaka. But what this moment really underscores is how incredibly hard Canada's midfield was pressing to disrupt the Swiss rhythm. It definitely wasn't an easy cruise.
But then, halftime happens. And whatever Swiss coach Murat Yakin said in that dressing room, it worked absolute wonders. Because just 46 seconds, literally less than a minute into the second half, the deadlock was completely shattered. Canada had ended the first half arguably looking like the stronger side, but in the blink of an eye, the Swiss came out, smelled blood, and completely flipped the script.
Which brings us to Section 3, the difference makers. The architects behind this 2-0 result. You know, football is a team game, but big matches are always decided by individual moments of brilliance. Check out Switzerland's attacking architects here. Rubén Vargas is the guy who completely silenced that 45,000-strong home crowd with that opening goal just 46 seconds into the half. He was a constant threat down the left flank. Then you have Johan Mansambi. Guys, he is just 20 years old. He justified a start by delivering a pinpoint cross straight to Vargas for that goal. And of course, Breel Embolo. He had been denied earlier, but his relentless physical persistence finally paid off in the 57th minute to make it 2-0. They were absolutely clinical.
And we absolutely cannot talk about the Swiss without talking about Granit Xhaka, the captain, the heartbeat of this team. By brilliantly orchestrating the tempo all game, Xhaka not only secured the win, but he also snagged a massive personal milestone. He surpassed the legendary striker Alexander Frey with his third career World Cup goal. His steady leadership, especially after that incredibly tense first half, and his early yellow card, was exactly what Switzerland needed to regain total control of the match.
On the flip side of the ball, we really have to credit the defensive standouts. For Switzerland, Manuel Akanji and Nico Elvedi were total brick walls. They completely neutralized Canada's lethal striker Jonathan David, who, let's not forget, just scored a hat-trick in the previous game. And for Canada, Maxime Crepeau was nothing short of brilliant. Without his heroic sprawling 11th-minute save against Embolo, this game could have easily turned into an ugly blowout early on. He kept his team in the fight for over 80 minutes.
All right, let's look at Section 4, the road ahead, and dive into the macro implications for the knockout stages.
Let's zoom out to the tournament bracket for a second. The rewards of finishing first versus second, they aren't just about pride. It's all about logistics, travel schedules, and the caliber of your future opponents. In a condensed tournament format, recovery is literally everything. There is a stark difference between what Switzerland has earned for themselves and the uphill battle Canada now faces to keep their tournament alive.
For the Swiss, the reward is massive. Staying in Vancouver means absolutely zero travel disruption. No messing with airports, no packing up training camps, and crucially, no time zone changes. They literally get to stay put, sleep in the same beds, recover, and just watch the rest of the bracket fight it out. They are perfectly positioned to prepare for a highly favorable round of 32 matchup against a third-place team from another group.
Meanwhile, Canada's path is undoubtedly a tougher one. They've got to pack up, take a quick trip down to Los Angeles, and prepare to face a tough Group A runner-up in South Korea on June 29th. The turnaround is faster and the opponent is tougher. But hey, let's not forget the context here. What a monumental, historic achievement it is for Canada to even be in the knockout stages. Before this tournament, they had never won a World Cup match. Now, they're playing in the round of 32.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you all with a provocative thought as we look ahead to the round of 32. Switzerland has the undeniable pedigree of a traditional tournament powerhouse, right? While Canada has that unpredictable, fiery momentum of making history. But in the unforgiving, one-and-done reality of the knockout stages, which of these two incredibly contrasting forces will actually prevail? It's the ultimate football question, and honestly, I cannot wait to see how it unfolds on the pitch.